It's thinking.
Uh, Using a VPN, they're trying to block you already.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Hey,
Hello to all you patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 471 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, the number one live podcast in Canada, recorded June 22nd, 2026.
we need your help to support the Canadian Patriot Podcast. Visit patreon.com/CPP and become a Patreon. You can get a better quality version of the show for just $1 per episode. Show you're not a communist. Buy a CPP t-shirt for just $24.99 plus shipping and theft. Visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com homepage and follow the link on the right.
Excellent. That brings us to our favorite segment of the show. What are we drinking? And something you've done off of the Patriot Challenge. Pierre, what are you drinking, sir?
40 Creek, as per SOP for
What?
me at least. Yeah, 40 Creek, obviously always got the water. I think I'm on my third liter today.
Nice.
Yeah,
Solid.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't drink less than two, but that's just because I also work outside a lot, and lately it's
Yeah.
much needed. Patriot Challenge, yeah, well, staying on top of the waters, trying to avoid listening to mainstream media at all costs. Podcasts, some informational stuff, some random stuff, just stuff to do whatever. I do have a few books. Like I said previously, I still haven't started them, but as we had discussed, I do have a quite a long travel in the next future or the near future. Sorry, so might start
Yeah.
listening to those few of them.
Nice. Yeah, that's usually a good time to sort of start plowing through some books. Is like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
I've
like
got X
hey,
number of hours behind the wheel. We're on a
yeah,
flight or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay.
give me that 10-hour book. I have 13 hours
Yeah,
of driving.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that and then just yeah, busy weekend, lots with work and all that stuff as we discussed, before the show and all that. Still kicking along, but yeah, it's kind of putting a little bit of a damper on a few things I would like to do, but you got to do what you got to go do for now. So,
Yeah.
I'm still on top of the water and drinking 40 Creek as
Hey,
usual, so I'm happy.
exactly. As they say, poverty's nerfect. So as long as you're trying to keep some of those plates spinning, and some of them
Yeah,
are, then you're good to go.
yeah, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm doing the water thing as well, and yeah, at least 2 liters a day for, well, I don't know, months and months now. I've been tracking it. So I mean, it's longer than that, but like tracking it, I find it really, of all of the things, helps. And
Your
so
official gold stars has been at least a few months.
yeah, and same like doing the stretching daily, like, and it's not even like that crazy of a stretching routine. It's just like a couple of things that I have issues with. And like a lot of those issues now are not bugging me. Like my
Nice.
back used to hurt all the time. And like I would make a lot of old man noises when I would like, go to
Get.
sit down or get up, right? Where you're just like, "Ugh, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't make those as much anymore. Like they're not gone completely because sometimes, like,
Yeah.
I'm
Depending
still
your
an old
day,
I'm still
but
I'm still an old man, but like
yeah.
they're definitely few and far between now, which is great. And yeah, I'm well ahead of my reading goal. Um,
Nice.
done a couple of really decent books lately. Have you
Obviously,
ever?
none have to do with the liberal government.
Yeah, no, that book was terrible, and I do not recommend it or anything to have anything to do with any of them. But have you ever watched that like SAS World's Toughest Challenge Special Forces thing on the TV?
I think so.
So where like they get a bunch of like they've done the celebrity one and like the regular people one, but
Yeah.
it's got
Just
like a
like
bunch
people that
of
are like extremists and they think they can pass the SAS challenge and they put them,
yeah,
they
basically
say,
yeah, they
yeah,
take them out to like different environments and like have them there and at the end of the somebody wins and they're like you've passed selection. But the guys that do that, I've read a bunch of their books and because they're kind of like the British version of SEALs, so of course they write books, right?
yeah,
So um they've done a bunch of like, inspirational, like how to be a badass and like do all this, but they've also written some fiction books
Yeah.
and they were actually decent. So I've read the ones that are by Ollie Ollerton and the other ones by Billy Billingham. And they're both like they're two series of books with like a couple of books per series. They're all like
Yeah.
spy stuff. So they're kind of like Andy McNabb and all those other guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were actually pretty decent. And then I've started
Nice.
another series by a guy named Brad Thor, which is another like spy novel
Yeah.
thing.
You just read it because of the name.
Well, I was
You
trying
were
to
like, I
not.
don't even care.
I was. I was honestly purposely trying to avoid it because of the name. Because I was like, I don't want to read it just because of this. But like, I was starting to run out of like
Ideas.
fiction books, and like, I kind of like doing these series ones where there's 5 or 6 of them because it's like, well, I can just plow through a whole series, right?
Yeah.
And then it's not like I'm stuck for every month being like, oh fuck, what am I gonna read now?
Yeah. Especially if
Um,
they're good books. Right.
yeah,
Like
in this
when
one,
they're at
like
least intriguing or like entertaining, where you're like a little far-fetched, but I was like, it's still
yeah,
nice.
the
Like, yeah.
this one, and I read the review of it, so I was hesitant, but it's like, yeah, the first little bit was just like not good. But after you get through like that first few chapters, it really picks up and it's really good. And I will definitely say that yes, that is the case.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no.
Nice.
So yeah, a
That's
few
good.
good books. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, I have not done a whole lot else because yeah, I've been busy with dumb work stuff and
Yeah.
need a break every now and again.
Yeah. I think I get one in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I'm
Great.
working from 7 days a week. I think I get a day and a half off, so I'm looking
Nice.
forward to it.
Well,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
been 7 days in a week, 7 days a week for 3, 4 weeks, three, four
Well,
weeks now. So it's just like, I
just
mean,
have you
yeah,
tried doing what Andrew does and just schedule a meeting with yourself so that way no one else can schedule you for something and then you can just do whatever you want?
yeah, but I probably have a very limited frame. Like I can't take a full day without my boss
Wow.
being like, "Hey, like, what are you doing all day?" What? I mean, I probably could. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll do
Wow.
that on my next trip out east, for work. I probably got to do
Even
that
if you
for
just get
another
like
two
a
days.
half an hour so you could just like go fucking take a nap somewhere or whatever. Just like, yeah, I've got this half-hour Zoom meeting with myself. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see you guys
Well,
later.
the nice thing is I can literally just like pick up my phone and be like, "Hey, what's up? What do you
Yeah.
need?" Yeah, I can walk you through this, or like, "That sounds like you got to call this person," and be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta
the
go."
signal's
Even
not
to
so
my
good. I'm
boss.
gonna go outside.
Yeah, like even with my boss, I can be like, "Yeah, what do you want, boss?" "Oh, did you see this?" Like, "Yeah, I took care of this, took care of that." Do you need anything else like 100% particular? Because like I want to get off the phone, and he'd just be like, "No, we're good. Call me if you need something." So I do have that freedom, but like, yeah, it's still just fucking
Nice.
nuts.
Wow. Well, we'd love your feedback. I don't know if the feedback email works or not, but you'll figure out a way to reach out to the people on here if you have some
Yep.
feedback. We may or may not read it. We may or may not care. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
it's been a
if you
long
send it
time
to
since I
me,
got an
I will.
email. Yeah,
Yeah, I will read it. I may
but
post
that
it,
may
and
be
we
as
may
far as that
talk about
goes.
it on
Yeah.
Monday. Yeah, I may not reply, but we may talk shit on Monday nights about the
Well,
feedback. But
well,
like,
there you go.
yeah, I'm down. I'm sure I can work
Nice.
on some stuff, or we can
Yeah,
argue virtually.
perfect. Upcoming events. The prepper meet is coming up shortly. I
Yeah.
do plan to attend, and I know some other panelists from the other CPP also will be there. So, like, come hang out, drink beer around a campfire, make fun of weirdos that are like, nothing against preppers, because, like, I also like to be prepared. But there's definitely some weirdos that attend that are like
Yeah.
out there. So
Yeah. And also,
please come and drink with me, and we can quietly make fun of them.
yeah. And let's see if you can spot the honey pot
Yes.
just as much as
Yeah.
Gavin can. Go drink
Yeah.
a Gavin and see if you can spot the honey pot. Like,
Yes, that'll be a good time. Yes, we'll play the fun game of people watching, and yes, find the Fed.
yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the news. Um, I guess we'll start off with the biggest story of today.
Yeah, which is a sad one.
Yeah, this is
I mean,
yeah. So there was a for those of you that don't know or are listening at some point in the future and don't realize what we're talking about, there was a shooting in Montreal. So sometime around lunchtime, just ahead of lunchtime, um,
yeah,
phone calls were made talking about a guy with a gun poking out of a window
yeah.
in, I guess, I'm not sure exactly where it is, but I guess it's well, maybe, well, I'll just
Côté
read
des
it.
Neiges.
Yeah,
Yeah,
outside of the Homewood Suites in that part of Montreal, which is apparently the Jewish part of Montreal. That may or may not be related. We don't know at this point in time, but phone
yeah,
calls were made to the police alerting them to somebody with a gun poking out of a window.
yeah,
The police arrive on the scene, I guess, as the person with the gun is exiting the building, and a gunfight erupts in the street.
yeah,
There is a short, like 1 minute video clip that is circulating around that shows this gunfight that somebody, I guess, from the other side of the street or whatever is filming from their apartment window or a hotel window or something.
yeah,
And you see the person sort of ducking behind like a concrete planter, and like one or two planters over is a cop on the ground that I guess has been shot. There is another cop that is shooting back at the person trying to stay undercover. And then
yeah.
it looks like a civilian is trying to get the fuck out of the way from getting shot and kind of hide behind the cop that's doing the shooting because they were
And he
kind
gets
of
shot.
stuck between the cop and the piece of shit that started this all. And it looks like, unfortunately, the cop shoots the civilian, like point blank. The police have yet to confirm that this has happened. They have also yet to confirm that this person has put out some 100-page manifesto, um, and that they are an incel and that this whole manifesto is very anti-women and all of that, um, because this is all under investigation,
Yeah, and
which
I
is
mean,
fair. Like, we don't want to talk about things that we don't know what the hell's going on.
but also I don't trust any government institute to look into anything and give me honest feedback. Look at the Nova
Yes,
Scotia shooting, look at um SNC Lavalin and all that stuff. And
literally
as
anything. Yes.
yeah, and as much as that video footage, the one Benny posted or whatever, I'm like, oh, you get some insight, but I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
there's just like the whole previous, like the cops are already there, like there's so much missing that I'm like, as much as I want to say, I was like, oh, look at this info, I'm like, there's just a lot missing, and I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know if that makes like me just distrustful of like, hey, I want like the breakdown, like the call, who showed up first, what happened, what was the call on the radio, when did the person walk out, like what was the whole scenario. So I'm like, obviously, just at the end of the day, this person is a degen and shouldn't have done that with
Yeah.
any type of weapon, whether it was a gun, a knife, or a fucking
Yeah.
spoon. Um, nothing should have happened like this. The cop shouldn't have been killed reporting to a call like that. A civilian shouldn't have been killed. The other officer should have been injured. All those things, yes, 100%. But like, I'm just very distrustful of
Oh, 100%.
available
Especially,
available information.
and this is, I will put my tinfoil hat
Oh,
on and speculate wildly, but be upfront and honest about it. So, based on the images that we're seeing that have come out of this, it looks like the firearm in question is an SKS.
yeah, allegedly.
It is yet to be confirmed, but the photos, to me, and it seems everybody else on the internet, all are in agreement that this is an SKS, which is one of the very sort of contested items with the whole firearms ban that is going on right now. Um, the whole Polysuivant group believes that the SKS should be firmly placed on the ban list.
Yeah. That should have been one of the first ones, even before those big black
Yeah,
scary ones.
and it is not. And I will speculate wildly on as to why. I believe that it has not been placed on that because there is a large native population that owns these things and uses them for hunting, of which the government doesn't want to piss them off because, the whole reconciliation thing, and that's not really helpful for reconciliation when you tell them to hand in their most popular hunting rifle. But,
But I mean, if they hand that one in, then can they keep their AK?
oh, well, yeah, I mean, obviously.
I mean, so at
And
least they
they're,
have that,
well, maybe I won't name the other one that they're legally allowed to have still, and it's still non-restricted and has
allegedly.
not been put on any of the ban lists because we bought a bunch of them for them many years ago. Um, that
Allegedly.
is a AK, but it's exempt by name. But
Yeah. But
so it's just
um,
interesting timing with all of this that there is now a shooting. Some will
yep.
call it a mass shooting because multiple people got shot, but some of them may or may not have been shot by the police that were trying to stop.
So what's isn't the
But
criteria for mass shooting like 4 people dead?
well, I guess it
Not the
depends.
not
Like
the
they
fact of
keep,
how many rounds you
they,
discharge. I think mass shooting
yeah,
requires a certain amount of casualties.
it does, but they keep changing the goalposts as like everything else. So
Uh,
it used to be like a larger number, and it is now like almost to the point where they will call, it a mass shooting if two people are shot and one of them is the person that shot the other one.
if I
Um,
discharge my own pistol while holstering, it's a mass
yeah,
shooting
yeah,
because the same party was involved in the shooting and the injury.
yes, but it is just interesting coincidence that the time frame of this comes just days after the extension for the amnesty period because of the Supreme Court challenge, where it contests this whole you can't just ban things that are, have viable sporting or hunting use, which
Yeah.
would include the SKS, which is not currently banned, but I have a
But
feeling that there will be announcements made shortly.
but also, let's be honest, whether that amnesty continued or was enforced before the
Hmm.
amnesty, technically any law-abiding citizen, I mean, technically any law-abiding citizen would not do this to start with.
No,
But
but it's just
let's just
interesting timing where like I'm not saying that this is a that it didn't happen, it's all fabricated, nor am I saying that this is some sort of false flag thing where somebody intentionally did this in order to have a certain reaction. But it is an interesting coincidence that the firearm in potentially used in this, based on what we have seen, is this one that has this still legal status in Canada when that's all being contested.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
whether the amnesty was extended or not, technically it would have prevented what happened um, due to the
yeah,
fact that that was on the thing, um, but on the ban list or whatever. But the fact that I don't know, I'm way more interested in a non-bias
yeah,
investigation to okay,
oh,
fine, cops reaction,
yeah,
response time, reactions. I have a few questions of the video that came up where, the cop shooting and one's crawling in
yeah,
front of a car, like, after being shot, the other one's just hiding behind a concrete pillar. Don't get me wrong. I
yeah.
would probably do the same thing, but also I'm not getting paid to be the
Well,
person to do
it,
something about it.
yeah, and this is there's a lot of things going on. Like this literally just happened hours ago. So there's a whole lot of
Yeah.
information that we don't know, and there's probably
Yeah.
a whole bunch of disinformation that's out
Yeah.
there at the moment because of speculation or like, this got called in, but it wasn't relevant or whatever.
Yeah.
Because yeah, there's also a report somewhere that like there were two guys in camouflage running around. So there may be a second person, The
Yeah,
fact that
but
this is a terror attack hasn't been ruled out. They're not confessing to finding a manifesto which says it's been distributed online, and they may have also found a physical copy of it in the hotel room. Like there's a lot of stuff we don't know.
yeah,
That
and I'm just hoping that when that
yeah,
information comes out, it's truthful information.
yeah.
Which,
And
I
I mean
have my
the
issues
cop
about
thing,
it
like
actually. Yeah,
it sucks.
and
Like that person like is getting shot at, and then all of a sudden there's a person in your peripheral.
yeah, and
It
yeah, that like reaction
right?
time. Like I'm not
Stress and
saying neither
everything,
one.
right? Like all of those
Yeah,
things can make that like I thankfully have never been in a position like that, and I hopefully never am.
yeah. Right. You can have all
But
the training in the world shooting at
this is
paper.
where like the training thing, I
Yeah,
that the generally I would say that the people that are for the banning of the guns are also for the defunding of the police.
yeah,
Whereas I would like to say this is exactly the kind of reason why we need to give them more training and better
absolutely.
training so that when events like this happen,
They
they are
they default.
able to properly, you know, respond. And it's still going to be a crazy high stress thing and mistakes are going to be made, but
Yep.
hopefully fewer mistakes are made and the ones that are made are not life ending because that's unfortunately what happened.
Yeah, man,
At least
and
that's what it looks like. We don't know because, yeah, investigation's still underway.
yeah. So hopefully they do a deep dive and they're truthful about all parties. Was the ball dropped
Yeah.
on someone or, some part of the investigation? Was this person flagged for some reason? Did he legally possess it? Did he legally have it? And, he just
Yeah.
fell through the cracks, which is a possibility. But, I'm just way more curious on all the steps prior to this and this person doing something of all that in a truthful matter, which
Yeah.
fingers crossed that actually happens. But I'm not ecstatic about anything coming out of this investigation just because I don't I
No.
don't I just don't trust information coming out of a investigation from anything
No, exactly.
related
And
to
I mean,
government or
well,
politics or anything.
and it's not like Quebec and Montreal have a stellar record
Uh,
when it comes to credibility and not being corrupt. But
I mean, it's not construction contracts, so
yeah,
we'll
so
give
there's a
them
hope. There's
that.
a hope. There's a
There's
hope,
a
maybe.
hope.
It's a
It's not
hope,
a
maybe.
concrete contract.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not a tow
that's
truck on the side of the highway. Yeah. But,
yeah.
well, we will see how this all goes. Um,
So I'm
but yeah.
also, if he distributed a violent incel manifesto targeting women, I mean, he did drop the ball on waiting for women cops to show up to do something. I'm just saying, um, not supporting it, not saying he did
Well,
wrong or it would have been right, but I'm just saying, he kind of dropped the ball on that one.
yeah. The crazy thing though is that like in this minute long video, like something like 20 to 30 rounds are fired.
Yeah, and I think mostly from him. So the one video I saw, which is I don't well, it's the one Benny posted, um, doesn't look like the cops shot much. And like there's a lot of shooting behind a corner that you can't see from the video. So I'm like, I can't tell if there's cops like,
Yeah.
you know, the angle we saw it looked like there was two cops, a few vehicles, but it was down an alley, and then all of a sudden, like the guy runs out of the alley and like comes around a corner, and that's where the cops hiding and
Yeah.
this that.
And then
So
he's
I'm like,
like ducking behind the thing, I think trying to reload or whatever, because
yeah,
it's an
and yeah,
SKS and stripper
yeah,
clips, because he doesn't have the Tapco tactical stock and the duckbill magazines.
yeah,
It is a completely unbubbled
yeah,
SKS that has like the original like 10 round internal mag that like
yeah,
we're not
yeah,
even
yeah,
sure at this point if he'd snapped the little bar that's welded in there to make it 5 rounds or not. But at
yeah,
most, it was 10 rounds in the internal magazine.
yeah. It definitely looks like yeah,
But there's a lot
pull the
of shooting
bolt,
going on.
push. Yeah, so obviously the angle we can't see, and the
Yeah.
cop, 15 other cops, like lots. So hopefully an investigation to figure out, where we can get better other than just being guns being bad, like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to say red flag laws because I'm not saying that's going to solve anything, but like,
No, and
let's think,
we already have
yeah,
them times
yeah,
two now.
yeah,
And
right.
yeah.
Like we have, but I mean, two negatives make a positive. So if you get two
Yeah.
complaints, you get to keep them. If it's only one complaint, they got to take them. Like, it's simple
Yeah.
math.
Oh,
But
exactly.
yeah, let's just figure out, what happened, where can we get
Yeah.
better, make society safer, but also, don't inhibit and penalize people like
Yeah.
pretty much everybody that has ever been on this fucking panel, being law-abiding citizens and everything, and I should still
Yeah.
have the right to go enjoy what I want to do, and
Yeah.
in a
As
responsible
we
manner.
know, there are more people that have died in Canada from having put things up their butt than have died from
From
gunshots.
Yeah, and not even like one type of firearm. We're
Yeah.
talking all the firearms.
Yeah.
And we're talking about all the butts as well. Like except for the ones on the
Yeah.
range where I pull the
Yeah.
butt
Yeah.
down and put the
Those are
butt up
different.
for Dave. Yeah,
Yeah.
for Dave and Andrew. That's a different kind of butt I
Yeah.
do up and down for them. But
Yeah.
uh,
Though it's okay to put things in those butts. It's
yes,
totally fine and normal. It happens all the time.
yep,
Um, some other things with us taking it in the butt.
yep,
Canada's inflation rate rose to 3.2% in May, driven again by high gas prices.
yep. Big surprise there.
Yeah, so gas prices have rose faster in May than months before. Uh, our annual inflation rate edged up to 3.2% in May, according to Statistics Canada, with rising gas prices pushing inflation up as the cost of fresh fruits and vegetables also soared.
Yeah, I mean, so gas and diesel going up, 40, 50
Yeah,
cents. Like, I don't understand how people don't comprehend the fact that, like, now everything at the grocery store that gets dropped off by a vehicle
well,
running on diesel
and,
with
but
a
not just that,
generator to
like
keep
you're
everything cold.
literally everything.
Yeah,
Like your
like
clothing, your like and like
every
things that
store.
manufacturing, and if it's something that like the raw materials have to go into a place and then it gets shipped to a manufacturer
Yeah,
and then it gets shipped to a retail store, there's transportation every step of the way.
yeah,
And so, yeah, like what is it here?
like
They're saying the price of gas rose faster than May, with prices increasing 33.2% on a year-over-year basis compared to 28.6% in April. So like it was already like inflated in April, but like in a month it went from 28.6 to 33.2% increase in a month. Now, as we said, that's driven by the gasoline shortage because of whatever's going on in the Middle East. But crazy thing here, Canada produces enough oil or has the capability to produce enough
uh,
oil and all of that to supply all of our own internal needs for gas and oil and petroleum products.
yes, that was the key word. We have the capability,
Yeah.
doesn't mean we do.
Where we get hung up is our ability to put it in a
Refine.
pipeline and transfer it across the country
Uh,
and get it refined and into the hands of the users. So we are
yeah,
stuck buying something from other countries far
at whatever
away.
rate.
Yeah, well, we could just say, fuck it, and supply our own stuff
Yep.
for a much better price, which would stop all of this. Also, remember if you go back to the carbon tax that went away and then kind of came back as the industrial carbon tax,
Yeah.
because gas prices never really dropped all that much. And they have
No.
certainly, as we're seeing, have gone up substantially
Yeah.
when that all kind of came back.
And even if they find only, imply big companies, like you own a company, so
Yeah,
if you're shipping a material cost to get something in, at the end of the day, you need to make a profit margin of
yeah,
20%. Doesn't matter, if it's $1 or $3. At
yeah,
the end of the day, to stay afloat, you need to make a profit margin of 20%. So whether that's $1 or $3, that goes
Yeah.
to the consumer. So I'll have to pay extra tax to get gas to go to your store to buy something, but because you're a corporate
Yeah.
and or an incorporation and you know all these things, and like you said, it goes through 3 4 different places. Well, all those taxes go, get added on. So I save money, but you charge the other thing. So I'm like, fine, I save money at the pump, but now my materials or anything I want to consume
Yeah.
cost, an inflation of
Yeah.
like 30 to 40%.
Yeah.
Well, I, I, I would rather that stay the same and my gas be up. Like, like if you rip a band-aid off one and apply two band-aids to something else, and something costs, if I take the profit margins of what cucumbers
Yeah.
cost, and I live close enough to a grocery store that it doesn't cost me to walk there, bring a backpack, and go buy my cucumbers. But now
But
it doesn't matter if I drive or walk, it ends up costing me the same because I saved on gas, but that profit margin is still crazy ridiculous on
well, and that's just it. And
what I'm
that's
getting
like,
costs.
well, and that's exactly how, I set pricing at work is like
Hmm.
we don't
Yeah.
individually hand price every item. We sometimes some specialty ones we have to be competitive in the market. But generally what we do is we look at like, okay, what is my cost of goods? What
Yeah.
is my like operating costs? And
Yep.
what profit margin do I need? So I just go, okay, on this particular product line, I need to make 30% in order to
Yep.
be profitable. Like, so I have to be able to like pay all of my employees, pay taxes on the building or rent or like utilities and like all of the
Yep.
and pay for new inventory and
Yeah.
all of that. And then hopefully at the end of the day actually generate a profit for the business
Yep.
so that like we can improve, we can fix things like, over time the building falls apart because that's what happens. And you need some of that in the bank. And yeah, everyone needs to make some money and investors
Yep.
need to get paid out because otherwise why would they invest? Stuff like
Yep.
that, right? But
And
like when you add a dollar, and this is how everyone does things, that they also need their profit margin. So like, yeah, okay, gas goes up a dollar or 50 cents or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, well, whatever. But
yeah.
then every step along the way, everyone's profit margin now goes up. And then now the cost to do that, because it's like your cost of goods
Yep.
is
Right.
increased. And so like it
So,
ripples through the whole fucking thing.
yep.
And what like, could be a minor increase in like, even if we get rid of like the fucking carbon tax and everything else, and like gas prices just go up like 5 cents,
Yep.
that ripples throughout the whole thing. And by the time it
Yep.
gets to the consumer, it's not five
It's
cents, it's 50 cents.
Yeah, because right. So if you
Yeah.
think about, let's just talk transportation. Whether you're ordering a part, that's
Yeah.
20 pounds and half a pallet, or cherry tomatoes, like every square inch
Yeah.
of a
Oh,
trailer, right, is accounted for plus
yeah.
weight, right?
Well,
Because
and that's
the
just it
more
because
weight you have, the more fuel
it's,
efficient, less fuel efficient you are,
yeah.
right?
And it's
If I
not
have,
necessarily the weight. Like it's if I physically take up this much space, even though I'm shipping something crazy light,
yeah,
doesn't matter. Because they could have put something heavy on there, so you get cubed out, and now you've got this crazy shipping price
yeah,
for something that's not heavy. Or yeah, if you're overweight or it's a small thing but it's heavy, now I can't put other things on the thing. So like you
yeah,
just get fucked. And I
yeah,
get
and
it. They want to
and
fill the truck,
yeah,
right? They don't
fill the
want to
truck.
waste
Yeah,
capacity because that's how they lose money is by like,
but then, like how much does DEF cost? All those trucks are
yeah,
diesel. What's the maintenance? Have you gone to the dealership, to get
yeah,
an hour's labor quoted out recently compared to, I don't know, 8 years ago?
yeah,
What's the labor rate? What's the quality of work you're getting now? I don't know about you, but I get really shitty fucking service 95% of the time when I bring something. And I've
yeah,
heard stories, right? Like, oh, well, we'll start with this. I was like, what do you mean you're going to start with this? I was like, so you're going to tell me I got to pay $700 and we'll see if it fixes the problem. And if not, you're going to quote another part. I was like, you're just going down a checklist compared to like years ago. You could bring it to like some
yeah,
guy and some guy would come back with like a 99.9% certainty of like it being something. Now it just seems like there's a 50-50 of like, well, we'll start here. And it's like, I need to absorb that cost because you don't understand how to do your job. And,
Yeah.
so that trickles down because if I own a truck and my maintenance is so much per year due to shitty service, shitty regulation,
Yeah.
shitty trucking, shitty part supply, all that stuff.
Shitty state of the roads, shaking your
Yeah,
truck more so it falls apart
like
faster. Yeah.
all those things, right? Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that needs to be in my price of per kilometer, per mile, per load, per pound of everything. So, the more we hamper and disassociate everything being, better quality compared to just convenience, it's going to affect the pricing on everything. And then here we are,
Yeah.
everybody walking around with carts to go get groceries.
Yeah. But yeah. So some numbers here just to tell you how shitty everything is. Prices for fresh fruit rose by 5.3% compared to the same time a year ago. Fresh vegetables rose 9% in May. Tomatoes in particular soared by 45.2%. So apparently some of that is also due to poor weather and less planting of the crops in Mexico as a result of US tariffs. But again, if they're coming from Mexico, that's a shit ton of gas to
Yep.
drive it from Mexico up here. So that cost went up as well. So
And
yes,
just so you know, you can grow tomatoes in your backyard.
yeah. So the month-over-month increase in vegetable prices of 5.5% was the largest increase for May since 2008. So yes, the cost of fresh produce drove the rate of inflation from groceries overall to 4.3% year over year for the month of May.
Yeah, so it's weird on this chart though. So 21 and 2026, like I
Yeah.
don't remember the cost of food being that crazy high in 2022 and 2023.
No, but
Because like
everything is
that's at the
relative.
peak.
Yeah, everything is relative as well, though, right?
Yeah, so
So,
like I might not have been paying as much for gas and power
well, and so
and
like the inflation may have been higher, but like if the overall cost back then was lower, you're still paying, even though the inflation was higher, the total cost was less than what you're doing now
yeah,
because the price hasn't dropped. It just
my
jumped
dollar was
big
still worth
time,
more at
right?
that point. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all
Yeah.
relative to like what people are getting paid and everything else that's going on as well.
Yeah. I
But
just I don't
yeah,
remember that. And I mean I do
no,
groceries often. Like
but
it's
that's why, like, it's just because I think back then, like, everything else wasn't as expensive, or we were still making better money relative to everything else back then. And the prices were low. So even if they went up 20%,
yeah.
that wasn't a huge
And
dollar figure. But now that they've already gone up a ridiculous amount multiple times, now even a small increase all of a sudden,
yeah, and
like
I mean I
5% of $10 isn't all that much. 5% of $1 million
it's
is a
still
lot more,
5%, but yeah.
but
Yeah,
it,
right.
it
And
amplifies it, right?
I understand, right? It's winter.
Yeah,
You can't grow cucumbers locally in Ontario, so cucumbers need to come from somewhere else.
yeah,
Cucumbers, carrots, tomatoes cost more in those cold months where we can't produce locally because we need to ship them from
yeah.
somewhere else and all that. So
Well, and
yeah,
that's why,
I get
like,
I
the,
get
the
that.
the next
But
article I have is kind of piggybacks this one, and it talks specifically about the cost of cucumbers.
yeah,
So yeah, fresh veggies cost 7.8% more in March compared to March last year, Stats Can. But apparently, like, tomatoes was one, but like cucumbers is another one apparently that
yeah,
like
cucumbers are
has
expensive as
just
fuck.
skyrocketed. Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
I
we're
I remember going to the grocery store and cucumbers being 50 cents a piece.
Yeah, price of cucumbers has increased 28.4% over the past year.
Yeah,
So the
like
average monthly cost of a cucumber in February was $2.21. In March last year, they were a buck 50.
Yep. So March, February, like I just said, those are the months where we can't
Yeah,
grow locally. Like there's no farmers around you growing
yeah,
cucumbers in a greenhouse. Like greenhouses are crazy expensive to get production to be able to sell for your own
yeah.
consumption, absolutely. But so like right, they're kind of pricing out like at the weird time of year where I'm like, okay, well let's
Well,
get
yeah,
like
but
when I can get Farmer Joe's down the road to buy,
yeah,
buy the
but in
cucumbers
so
and
in
sell here.
February though, so like they're looking in March last year a buck 50. So
Yeah.
then you go to February, so like just shy of a year,
Yep.
221 to now
Yeah.
299. So like from February to June, it's already gone up 80 cents
Yeah, but
or
from
70
March
cents.
last
Like,
year, just under 50%. Like let's
yeah,
call a buck 54, buck 50, and 2.99 $3.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
50% increase.
yeah, it's
Or
doubled in
no,
price.
that's
Like,
100% increase. Sorry.
yeah,
Like yeah,
it's doubled in
that's
price in a
doubled in
year
price.
or just
In
over a year.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it
I-
being in,
yeah,
2.99 now during the months where you probably could have grown a cucumber, somewhere quote unquote locally in Canada, you
yeah.
know, way
And
cheaper
it,
than shipping it up from Mexico. There's no reason it should be 100% more expensive.
well, and like I mean, the article gets into it a little bit more because again, specifically like cucumbers, like tomatoes, there's some things like they're easily susceptible to production shortages because they don't last very long. We don't have a huge diverse supply of them and things like that. But again, it just kind of shows how ridiculous that some of this is, that something has doubled in price in a year.
Yeah.
And again, like cucumbers are supposed to be like not expensive. They're like a cheap,
They're mostly water.
yeah, it's
Like
like a
let's be
cheap
like
snack that you like chuck in your salad or you like cut up some
it
slices
it,
and have with
it
some dip or something. Like,
it adds volume to something. Like
yeah,
there's no crazy benefit to eating a
yeah,
bunch of cucumber. Like other than like, you don't like to drink a lot of water, but you'll eat cucumber, you'll probably get a lot of like the water, but I'm like there's no
yeah,
crazy benefit, to the best of my knowledge. Someone will prove me wrong, probably my wife. But like cucumbers aren't like,
so you got to
a
drink the
live
cucumber
die.
water. Yeah.
Fuck, don't even get me started on
Get
cucumber
those
water. Jesus
electrolytes and
Christ.
everything. Yeah. But
Fuck.
yeah, like it's a fucking
It's a
cucumber.
cucumber. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking cucumber. Like, why
Yeah.
is it? Well,
You don't
there's
put
some.
cucumber in a salad, it's still a salad. Like
Yeah,
it's not the deciding
yeah. It's
factor of a
if you
salad.
take the lettuce out, it's no longer a salad, in my opinion. Although I guess it's no longer
Yeah.
a Greek salad if you take the cucumbers out. But
Uh I
you
don't
preface that
I
by
think
saying it's a
olives are more
Greek
important.
salad.
I think it's more important the olives
Oh,
than the cucumbers for a Greek.
fuck olives.
Yeah,
Ah,
I
yeah.
100% agree, but I'm just saying.
Oh,
But
went out for Greek food on Sunday, and yeah, definitely had to ask for no olives. I cannot
fucking
stand them. Oh,
oh, they're so weird.
olives
Like
taste like feet smell.
yeah, and like depending which olives you get, like black olives and like green olives, cut up like ready to put in something. But if you get those kala
Yeah,
something,
the Greek
like
ones.
yeah, like they're purple, they look like whatever,
Mm.
and they sit in like this weird oil. So I'm like
Yeah,
they're always slimy. Like they don't
yeah.
just sit in
Oh,
water. They're like something weird. Yeah, no, I don't like it. Like at the restaurant, like I got to take them out and I got to slice them to make like a Greek salad and a Greek like whatever. And every time I'm like, like every time I see one with no olives, I'm like,
yeah.
fucking A, I'll have to deal with it. But
Well, yeah.
yeah.
And just to respond to the problem here, you better watch it. You may not be able to afford crickets soon either because they shut that cricket plant down, which means that the cost of crickets is going to go up because the supply is
Oh,
no longer there. Yeah.
I didn't know the RCMP built a barricade and put all the crickets in it and then
Yeah.
shot them all.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, that was the ostrich.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's why I can't get
Yeah.
ostrich burgers anymore.
I was never a fan of. Have you ever had an ostrich burger?
Yeah,
Eh,
it's an acquired it's
yeah.
not bad, but I'm like it's just weird. Like
I don't like it.
it's a mixture
Yeah.
between chicken and turkey, but weirder.
Yeah. No, just beef burgers.
Yeah, like
It's
I'm
good.
down with
Maybe you mix in a little pork to make it juicier and give
yeah.
it a little
Or
extra
you just get
flavor.
or you just get medium ground beef instead of
Yeah,
like the lean. No need to add pork, but pork is also
yeah, yeah.
cheap, so you can have more volume. But like, yeah, there's lots of ways to make
I
whatever.
get medium ground beef. Like I would get like if they had something better than medium ground beef, I
Yeah,
would get it.
yeah,
But like unless you go to an
absolutely.
actual butcher, you're not finding anything like that.
No, not at all.
But
But yeah,
but
so transportation has gone up, fuel prices have
yeah,
gone up. Now your cucumbers cost, double the price they did a year and a bit ago. And
yeah.
it's not just cucumbers.
No, it's everything.
Well, me and Mill we were having we were having a get together. I think it might have been for my work. I invited a bunch of guys over. Like it was way past Christmas, but it was like Christmas thing. Like everybody show up. I was like, well, we're cooking. We're doing chicken. We're doing steak. This, that. Lots of appetizers. And I think she said she was gonna go get like a veggie or fruit platters. She's like, oh,
Yeah,
it's quick and easy. A veggie platter was I think $30
yeah. Well,
for
that's like I
like
usually
for
grab one like when I have
yeah,
people over or whatever, I'll usually go to the grocery store and get yeah,
yeah,
a veggie platter and a fruit platter so that people have some things to snack on that are
yeah.
healthy.
But
And
it's
it's always
seventy
got
dollars.
cucumber, but now it's gonna probably yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah, it's
crazy. Yeah.
$70 to get two of
Yeah.
them. Like where we like in town, I'm like, so we literally looked and I'm like, you get a very small portion. So I'm like, we bought a broccoli head, which had double what it had in that thing. We bought I think it had cauliflower, so we bought a cauliflower head, which had 3 times more. We bought carrots, we bought cucumbers, and we bought this and that. So we bought all the veggies to give us 4, 5 times more what would be in that veggie plate for $15. But yeah, they wanted
Yeah.
like 30, $35
And I
for a
get that like
pre-made veggie plate.
you're paying in part a lot for the convenience of having it already cut up and the
Yeah.
dip and everything. But yes, that like those were not that expensive and it was reasonable, but now it is just insane.
Yeah, now it's just not
Yeah.
worth it. Like buy the veggies, take 5 minutes and just cut it yourself. Be smart, go buy that veggie plate once or wait for someone to have the veggie plate empty, go home, wash it and like store it away and then go buy the stuff and put it in there so it looks like you spent $40 for them to come over, but you're
Yeah.
just keep reusing the same tray. Like, yeah, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And you can fill that veggie or fruit tray 3 times, 4 times more for less than what it costs for the plastic that's in it. Just go to the dollar store, buy a tray for $1. Well, probably $2 now because of gas, but
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's just yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they're just gonna keep going up, or it's either they're
Yeah.
going up or we're feeling the effects of our dollar being worth less.
Well, and so this is something here that segues nicely into the next one here. So Manitoba is doing something to tackle shrinkflation. So your product that you're buying stays the same price to trick you, but they
Yes.
slowly start decreasing the amount of product in it. So you go and you get your veggie plate and it's the same price, but instead of 10 slices of cucumber, you now have three.
Yes.
And so
Because
like there's a lot of
cucumbers are
places that are
expensive.
doing that kind of bullshit. So like I
Yeah.
remember I went and grabbed a drink from a fast food place a little while ago. And like, I would always just order a medium, right?
Yeah. And you were like, why is this a small?
Yeah.
Because that's the new medium?
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, like if you want to rename things like Starbucks has and come up with crazy words for things, fine. But
Yeah.
like if you're gonna change that, you should kind of fucking tell people,
Yeah.
especially when it's like, they the the price of it didn't really seem all that different than it was like 2 weeks ago when I went and got the exact same
Yeah.
thing. But now
Right.
all of a sudden I've got like this kid's cup. I'm like,
Yeah. So this
the
used to
fuck
be
is
two
it?
dollars,
Yeah,
and now this is $2.
yeah.
Right. And
I'm like,
and both
what
of
the
them are
fuck is
mediums,
this?
depending when you went.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Manitoba
No.
is putting rules in to help with this. So they did like a big study and all kinds of things, and like what they're going to do is that there will now be mandatory unit pricing across Manitoba grocery stores. So that way you can compare the price because it now fixes it to something relative where it's like, okay, if I go buy this bag of potato chips and it used to cost me X number of dollars per gram, and I see that cost go up, I know I'm paying more for it. But that's how they do that because it's like the bag looks the same. And potato chips are the worst because like the bag is this size, like the size of like a pillowcase.
Yeah.
But there's just like
Yeah. There's
the
just
tiny thing
crumbs
at the
at the
bottom.
bottom.
It's mostly air. And I get it.
Yeah.
Like you want some air to protect it when it travels and they don't end up like crumbs. But also like when I open a bag and it's half full or less, I also get kind of irked because it's like they
Yeah.
kind of tricked me on this one.
Yeah.
And
Especially
so
for the price of potato chips. Like,
yeah. And so that's what companies are starting to do now, especially where like
no.
things come in boxes or cans, and the box or the can has not changed size, but the amount in the box or can. So you go to
Yeah.
get your Cheerios off the shelf, and the cereal box is the same size as the cereal box has been since the 50s.
Yeah.
But now you're like,
Or
is there even a single bowl's worth of breakfast in here? Like,
yeah,
come on.
or they just put family size on it, and you think
But it's
back to
not.
like, yeah, like you think
Yeah.
back like, we've been going to Costco for years, and even we've seen it. We
Yeah.
were just like, we brought home, once in a while we'll pick up cereal because cereal is like the worst breakfast ever, but a good bowl of cinnamon toast crunch, like you can't beat it.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I remember this box and bag being like double the size of this as a family. And it's like
Yeah.
I'm done growing, so it's not because like I got bigger and like the box stayed the
Yeah.
same size, right? Like I haven't grown in years, right? Like I still have
Yeah. It's not
clothes
like when you
from ninth grade, like, and I
yeah.
still fit in them. Like
Yeah, it's not
nothing
like
has
when you're
changed.
little kid school and you think that like those shelves where you would put your boots or backpack or whatever are so high up, and then you go as
Yeah,
an adult and it's down at your knees and you're like, man, this used to be so tall.
yeah, like
What
it's
happened?
not that,
Yeah.
right? Like, and
I
yeah,
think
and
what
it's
they've done
just
is they put the family sized logo just on the regular size box.
yeah, and that's what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, like obviously shop around. I mean, I don't use it much because I just know where to go for certain things. But like the Flip app,
Yeah.
FLIPP, like
Yeah.
put it around, put your postal code in, so fine, it's gonna track you or whatever, but it's gonna give you all the sales. You can look up if you want Folgers coffee, it's gonna tell you who's got the best price. If there's somewhere local you can get it. Like you
Yeah.
can be smart and savvy with many things.
Oh
But
yeah.
it
And
it might be an inconvenience because you got to go to three stores instead of just one.
yeah, and
But
that's where you got to make the trade-off on all of that
yeah,
stuff. And like this is where, yeah, technology can certainly be your friend and AI can certainly be your friend because it can
yeah,
help you figure that all out.
yeah.
And I
But
mean, the problem brings it up that yes, like shrinkflation is a thing that has been around for decades, but I think it's way more prevalent now,
yeah,
or it's because everything is sort of accelerating and
mm,
getting just crazy. You notice it a lot more now than you did before. I
yeah.
mean, like a 2x4 is not 2x4 like it used to be. It's now slightly smaller, just
A
like
one and three
everything else.
quarters by
Yeah,
two and three quarters
but everyone
or
still
two and a
calls it
half.
a two by
But
four.
yeah, right. Because now if you put a half-inch drywall on it, now it's two by
Yeah,
four, which I'm like, yeah, it's misleading. So, yeah, but shrink like I remember going shopping with my mom,
yeah.
grabbing her hand because I was so little or whatever, and a shopping cart full at fuck, it wasn't even Loblaw. Was it Loeb before it was Loblaws?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or before it was Metro, it was Loeb. And
Yeah.
like a cart full, like food for 2 weeks was like $180.
Oh yeah.
Like shit, I can't
Even in the
even buy
last
a
few
hundred and eighty
years. Yeah.
dollars worth of food
I
for three of us, and we were seven.
dude, yeah.
Like,
So I mean, I used to like we went and got groceries the other day and spent like a hundred and something dollar, $130, and that was like food for Angela and I for like 3 days.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like, and I get some of that will last longer than the 3 days, but it was
yeah.
like not much longer. Whereas like a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, we could go and get like 5 days, 6 days for like that same price or maybe even slightly
Yeah,
cheaper.
and you didn't even go like all fancy. You didn't say like we're
No,
having a weekend where we're having, steak
yeah,
tartare, caviar, a
no,
prime
it
rib
like
roast
our
to make
our
like that.
our
Like,
meals are fairly modest. Like we will go and buy like I
yeah,
mean like literally today for dinner we had a thing of like honey garlic sausages, so two sausages each,
yeah,
and then like a head of lettuce,
yeah,
and then like some dressing. And that
yeah.
was dinner.
Because
Like that is not
because you couldn't afford the cucumbers because
yeah,
the friends like,
right?
yeah,
Like
no, but absolutely. And I'm like,
yeah.
you know,
Okay, and we did have an ice cream bar each.
oh, nice. What kind?
We get the she's doing 75 hard for the second time around, and so
Yeah,
she's doing the keto, so we have like the keto ice cream one. So those are a little bit
nice.
more pricey than the
Yeah,
regular one, but
yeah, but
it's still like literally
still,
like some two sausages and a head like so four sausages and a head of lettuce and some dressing is our dinner. Like it is not fancy by
no,
any means. There's
no.
no bougie butter from Europe and
Yeah, no,
all
no
the
moldy cheese, like no
yeah.
caviar, like, yeah, right,
Yeah,
like,
and that is like $120 for like,
yep,
basically we buy the thing of three heads of lettuce, so like we can get 3 meals out of it.
yeah,
And then like we bought, you know, a couple of fast fry steaks, the sausages, and some pork chops. Like so
yep.
like 3 days, like three
Of
dinners,
three
like
days a meal, you,
and
you're
some
gonna get
stuff so
fast
that like she
steaks,
can eat
lettuce, this
lunches or
lettuce, like,
breakfast or whatever. So it's like not even like 9 meals. Like it's not even for two of us for 3 days for 3 meals a day, and it's $120 or something crazy. Like it's
yeah,
insane.
yeah,
But
it's
I mean, at least, yeah, I think that some of this stuff should absolutely be mandatory, like putting these per unit cost, because it certainly helps you then compare
yeah,
brand to
and
brand as well. And like even
yeah,
then, like not even that, it's when you go from, oh, I could buy this size container of this product, and the exact same product now comes in the family size one.
yeah,
So I'm getting more and paying more, but per unit,
yeah,
is the price
and
getting better or worse? Because that happens sometimes where like they trick you.
yeah, you think you're getting a better deal because normally family size is better bang for your buck, but it does end up costing
Yeah,
you, 3 cents more per unit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
and
mean, I've
and
had that when I've gone to the bar one time and they were trying to sell me a pitcher of beer for more than 3 pints. And I was like, I'm gonna just order the pint separately and spend less
because
money, and then that
yeah,
way they stay cold.
yeah, like right, and so like I'm not a huge fan of this article just because like I
Yeah,
am very I just me personally I go in and like you can ask Mel, you can ask the daughter, like I'll get the daughter, like I was like, hey, like teaching her like, hey, we have a $250 budget for groceries, and I'm like, I give her the piece of paper, and I'm like, hey, hey, what's on the list? There's lettuce, cucumbers, strawberries, blueberries. We want steaks, we want this and everything, and everything we pick up, I was like, you have to scratch off the list, and I was like, I'm gonna tell you how much it is, and she writes it down, and then we go in and out in one of the aisles where I'm like, it's not busy. And I'm like, hey, we've got a list at the bottom of like extras we want to buy, right? Like, let's get
yeah,
ice cream. I was like, well, that's not an essential thing we need for meals. So I
yeah,
get her to do the math, add everything up. I'm already
yeah,
doing math in my head, and I'm like, I already know if we can get ice cream. But I was like, I'm gonna stand here for 5 minutes while she does math, and I was like, okay, well, how
yeah.
do you add
But that's a
tax?
good
Even
way to
though,
teach kids how to budget.
yeah, and I will look at cheese prices, like, oh, you can get a 1 kilogram or a 2.2 kilogram. Like, okay, well, okay, so if I double the price of this one, is it more expensive, less expensive? So I just naturally already do the
Yeah,
per unit cost. Most of
yeah,
the stores do have it, right? Like some of them will
yeah. But
confuse
it's
you and say like per 100 grams and per kilos or per
yeah, but
pound. And
it
I'm
would
like,
be nice if they had to just if it was standardized and it was for everything,
yeah,
because that's the problem is like you go in and some of that. and you like now I have to do
Yeah.
it, and then the way they do weird pricing where it's like 8.97. You're like, just fucking make it $9, right? Like,
The
just
fact that, why don't we do like England and Germany and all the
yeah,
European countries where I'm just like, fuck off with the plus tax and the eco-friendly fee.
just
Put
tell
the
me what it
price tax.
costs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is $250. When I go to
if
the
I were to
cash and it's
flip
like,
you a $5 bill, does this cover it? Yes or no? Like, yeah,
yeah,
but I,
and
I
it's
am,
uh,
yeah, I
fuck.
think the unit pricing would be great. It would make things a lot
Yeah,
faster. Like, I can math too, and like I've definitely done that at the store because sometimes it's like this doesn't seem right, or it's
yeah,
like you look at the two containers, like two different brands selling the same thing or comparable thing, and you're like, one is this price, but then they'll put them in slightly different volumes. So like shampoos and things like that are the worst for that, where you're like, just
yeah,
fucking make it the same. Like they're all 500 milliliters, they're all a liter or like some
yeah.
set thing,
And
or like,
I'm down for that. And it's just like,
yeah, it
beg
just
to
makes
differ.
it
And
faster, easier. It's not that I can't math, but like, just fucking do it for me.
yeah, and sometimes like,
Yeah,
Philadelphia cream cheese compared to
yeah,
no name Kirkland,
yeah,
fucking Great Value or whatever. Like sometimes there's just a cost associated because Philadelphia
yeah.
is on it.
Well,
Doesn't mean it's
exactly.
better, right? Like
No,
Philadelphia
you're
is not the
paying for
best
the
cream cheese you
brand
can buy.
sometimes.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, right? And it's like people,
yeah,
so try stuff out when you can. Oh, this is
yeah.
on sale. Let's buy it and see if it's better because
Well, or you
even if
might
it's
look
not
at
on
it
sale,
and see that, like, actually, okay, if I get the bigger one of this one,
yeah,
it's
for the same
cheaper
price. Yeah,
than buying the bigger one of this one that is the lesser brand or whatever, like,
yeah,
but yeah, it just makes it faster and easier if they were to do that. And the fact that they
yeah,
would be compelled to do it, I mean, just makes it a lot easier for
yeah.
people to figure it out.
But
Because,
now,
like,
I'm worried that if that becomes mandatory, now my cucumbers they go up because they had to get someone to
yeah,
do the math and put the fucking sticker for me.
yeah, I mean,
Like
that's
that's
fair.
also what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
Um,
but some
but
other, yeah, interesting ways that people are combating this whole inflation and shrinkflation and just, affording to be able to breathe. Apparently, some Canadians are crowdfunding their way through the cost of living crisis.
oh,
So more than 15,000 fundraisers for essential needs launched on GoFundMe.
okay.
So this article talks about a gentleman that sort of found himself strapped for cash and had to
Yep.
swallow his pride, which can be taken in a different way this month, but this
Yes.
isn't the original
Hence the
intending of
sparkles.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's had to like, I can't afford the things that I need in order to like get through life in general
Yeah.
and put food on my table.
You
And
can't.
so yeah,
Yeah.
he started GoFundMe and be like, please help.
Yeah.
Um,
And some people that can do it, but
yeah. So he's received $4,950 of his 9,000 goals bar.
that's a lot of groceries. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, well, maybe not. By the time he gets the funds, I
Well,
mean,
that's
that
like at
might be like
least
weeks
three
worth of
cucumbers.
funds.
Like at least three
So
cucumbers. Yeah.
right? He's gonna have three sausages and a head to let us suffer, not just two at that price, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
the fact that like, I mean, there's always going to be someone that does something, but like 15,000 across Canada.
yeah. So, right. So, a giant thing I have with this, like, just reading the article. He lived in Toronto for 14 years. He built a career,
I mean, yeah,
telephone-based
there's
customers,
some,
but like, all right, so let's do a little bit. Like, fine, you can
yeah,
crowdsource stuff if you need it, but like 2024, he got laid off.
yeah,
He went on EI. You've got the hours. You
yeah.
paid into it.
You
You
paid
should get
in,
it.
you could
Yeah.
get it. Yeah.
When it ran out and he went through his savings and available credit, he's not available for social assistance because he earned too much. Well, I mean, you paid into it. Should he get it? That's
I
up
mean,
for
yeah,
debate,
if
just
you
like
look
EI.
into the particular case of this guy, like there's some
Yeah, like
Questionable
so,
things going on with all of it. I feel
I
bad for him if he
used
can't put groceries on his table, but like
also there's something out there.
you don't
Doesn't
have to
matter
live in
if
Toronto. You could choose to leave Toronto and go
no,
somewhere that is more affordable.
yeah, or like you can do cost association, maybe
Yeah.
not buying caviar for
Yeah.
every meal. Like you might have to go to like
Well,
you know
fuck you, Pierre. That is my right to eat fucking
it,
caviar.
it
And only
absolutely
the
is,
finest of
but it's
caviars.
not my financial
Yeah.
responsibility, right? And the
No.
fact that you went from losing your job, which sucks, absolutely, you
Yeah.
need some help. EI was there. Thankfully, you were working for some time and it's there.
Yeah.
The fact that then you used all your savings and your credit card, and now you're like, hey, can I get welfare? I'm like, in between that time span, I do feel that maybe, depending on your rent
Some
and
other
your
things that could have been
lifestyle,
done to like, yeah.
help facilitate where I'm just like,
Yeah.
hey, you might not be able to buy, the really
Well,
fancy cuts of meat and this, that, and you might have to adjust, you know, your after hour plans. No, you can't go to the bar and have a pound of chicken wings and 3 beers with Gavin on Wednesdays, even though it's
yeah.
cheap beer and wings night.
You still
That
can't
is
afford it. Yeah.
that's $40 you can put towards, you know,
Yeah.
3 meals instead of the one. Like, so I just
Absolutely. Yeah,
like
there's
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 just
probably some things like that there, like yeah, maybe not living in Toronto and going somewhere else, especially if your job, by
is
the sound of it,
90%
when he
remote.
was working, was a remote thing or could be done remote. But yeah,
Telephone-based customer service. So
yeah,
they
but
can be. My brother works remotely. He hasn't been back since
yeah, I have a whole call
since
center that like can answer phone calls from anywhere in the world, and like we have a physical location, but they all have the capability of working from home if they want,
yeah,
and we do have one or two of them that's what they prefer.
yeah.
So
My brother does that, and well, he was
yeah,
also told when the COVID's happened. I think it was like 2 months after COVID shutdowns, like no office work or whatever. They were like, yeah, they called him and they said, yeah, go online. Here's a thousand
right,
dollars to set up an office. Book a time slot. Come pick up all your shit.
yeah,
You are never
yeah,
coming back to the office. Like, doesn't matter if this goes away. They were like, we don't have to have a full building now. So like,
yeah.
8 floors, all the hydro and everything.
Well,
We are
exactly,
gonna
yeah,
give you 2 grand a fucking year, or two hundred
yeah.
dollars a month to help with, you need good internet and your hydro and this that to run all the company stuff. They're like, we're making hand over fist compared to like having a mortar and brick building.
Oh, absolutely.
So
But I mean, if you look at this stats here, there was an 8% increase from January to May compared to last year. So like we'll call it 10% for easy math. So 10% more. But then since 2020, a 274% increase in campaigns that mention cost of living, record high inflation, and affordable housing shortages. So like this is a thing. Like there are
oh,
people that are
absolutely.
like, yeah, but that is
And
crazy that they are like that we're in this position because, according to Carney and all of the things, like we're fucking going gangbusters and everything is great.
I'll also agree to disagree, because 90% of the people that are looking for this to get grocery on the food. Okay, well, what's your car payment per year? Could you get
Yeah, I mean,
a
there's
used vehicle?
definitely some
Could you
things that,
not have, could you have not kept your old phone and maybe not upgraded, 6 months ago
oh,
to
for
the
sure.
newest phone? Like,
Or
so,
just
like,
cancel your Disney Plus and that'll solve all of your problems.
yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but like, there are things you can do that are
Well,
gonna
yeah,
suck.
but
And
budgeting is a thing. And like when I went to school, like you were saying, you take the kid out to the grocery store. Like we learned that in school. And like
yeah,
one of my assignments was weird that it was in high school and not earlier, but like we had to go, like we were given a dollar figure and
yep,
had
two
to
hundred
like,
bucks.
yeah,
And
go to the
y-
grocery store and get actual prices of groceries
yep,
and budget like a week's worth of meals.
yeah, breakfast, lunch, supper
Yeah.
for 3 people. Like
Yeah.
that was your thing. And like
Yeah.
that's not a thing anymore. And yeah,
No.
you were like, "Oh, I found this no name tomato soup, and I found this
Hmm.
discounted ground beef, and I
Yeah, it was
found
to
these
just to
expired
yeah,
noodles." And I'm like, "I'm having pasta 3 nights this week for, $8
yeah.
instead of your caviar or,
Well, exactly, right. And it's like, yeah,
your
if you're ever a student away at university or college, you definitely figure out how to like
yeah,
stretch
make
that
food
buck
on the
because it's
cheap.
like, oh yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna just get this. Like my roommate was the worst for it. He would literally go and get like a giant bag of rice and potatoes and live off of that for days at a time. But it was
yeah,
calories in his stomach, and like
yeah,
he certainly wasn't going hungry. His nutrition may have not been great, but he certainly was not going
yeah.
hungry.
But so yeah, like even
Yeah.
though many people are asking for this or whatever, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I also have an issue with like nobody wants to cut anything out of their regular routine.
No.
So
No.
it
But
being elevated, yes, is a concern, but that's
there
not
are
going to be
things to
the only
do that you
factor.
could yeah,
Probably mitigate
conserve a
some.
little, yeah, some of it at
Yeah.
least. But yeah, it's just crazy that like things have gotten so expensive in this country that people have had to like resort to this and that like, and I hate to say the government steps in to like be like, no, 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 you guys need to like show the transparency on all of this. And they're trying to say that it's because of like the greed of the grocery stores. And don't get me wrong, I think that like there's
There's
definitely some of that going on, especially with some
yeah.
of like the bigger chains and all of that. But also like
Yeah, but like the second you start introducing all these extra
I
fees
I
for
would say that the
diesel and this and
government
that.
is more at fault for all of the nonsense and the inflation and all of that in the grocery fees than like the grocery stores just being greedy and jacking prices up because like the market's going to dictate what it's going to dictate and like they need to make money, they need to put profits out there for the shareholders and all of that. So like there is an
Yeah.
incentive, but like if things are too expensive, people are not going to shop there, they're going to go elsewhere.
Yep. Right. And I
And
mean, they need all the overhang. Like, okay, well,
yeah,
our fruits and veggies come in on this day,
well,
and they
like
normally are shelf stable
yeah,
for 3 days. Well, ideally, you want to sell 100% of
yeah.
it, but if you don't, like, that's a cost they need to cover. So
But
they try and offset that cost on like,
well,
what
and
you
yeah, and
paid
like
per thing
if
on
you
a
can
20%.
get hooked up with like a good farmer's market or like directly with the farmer
Uh,
and buy stuff, you'll get a good deal. But
yeah,
like, I don't, when was the last time anyone went to like an independent grocery store and priced out like a can of soup? You're
yeah,
probably going to pay more
yep,
than if you go to Walmart. And I don't want people to go to Walmart,
no,
but
but the buying power is there,
yeah.
right? Like,
And so
yeah,
like they
like,
say that they're greedy, but it's like okay, sure, but I can still buy it cheaper there than I can anywhere else. So even if they're being greedy, I'm still paying less money and I need to put food on my table. And if I can buy like 2.5 cans of food versus 2 cans, I'm
yep,
ahead.
yep, absolutely, right? As long as it
So
doesn't cost you 40, it's not 2 hours
yeah,
to get to that store to do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like also local farmers, right? Like, so one of my daughter's friends, they own a certified organic farm. They grow veggies galore, tomatoes, cucumbers, free range eggs, whole kit and caboodle. I think they're starting to get into, I want to say, I think it's pigs. It's either pigs or goat. Like, you can get kale, lettuce, like, all the things there. And like, I am telling you, the best cherry tomatoes you have ever tasted.
Yeah,
And guess what? I go there and they have them. They have a little thing. They work on an honor system. Like, you need something, they've got a two-way radio. But it's like,
yeah,
you grab this, you grab that, you grab
yeah.
whatever,
Put your
you put
money in the
money
thing
in,
and
yeah, then you walk away. Those tomatoes will last 2 weeks in my fucking fridge.
yeah.
Like, I don't even have to do anything. I just literally come home and put those tomatoes in my fridge. Minimum 2 weeks, those things last. I
Yeah.
have literally gone to the grocery store, bought strawberries, tomatoes. 2 days later, they're
Oh
moldy.
yeah. But
That
that's because
doesn't
they had to
happen,
come all the way from Mexico and do
right?
all of the other things.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will say, well, oh, but that farm costs $2 more. I'm like, yeah, they do. But I'm like, also your shelf life
But
extends. So I'm like,
yeah, I've cut out a whole step in the thing that I'm
yeah,
getting them super fresh. And
yeah,
like, but that's where you need to decide what's more important to you and all that. But like,
yeah,
but just because someone's an independent, I would love to support independent stores more than big chain
yeah,
stores.
absolutely.
But like
You
sometimes the
can't you
buying
can't compete.
power of the big chain store is like, well, this is the only place I can afford to buy this.
Yeah, like I go to Costco religiously for many
Yeah.
things. I would way more love to go to like my farmer down the road and just be like, I want, this many steaks, this much ground beef, this much bacon, everything every week. But that's not how they work. I gotta buy a whole fucking cow. Oh, well, when's the cow? Oh, next week. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't have the, $2,500 to give you now. I want to save up for it, but with prices going up, so I'm gonna go best bang for my buck for the best quality I can get, right? Like I'm not gonna get, those fancy things, but I'm gonna get the best quality I can get for the best bang for my buck. And most of the time that ends up being big box stores, not mom and pop shops. That
Yeah.
ends up being people that have the buying power. And
Yeah.
it sucks. When we can, absolutely, we will support local farmers. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we're having people over. What kind of steaks you got in the freezer? Because they got their own cows, they got freezers they want to sell. Like, yeah, I'll spend a little bit extra to do whatever, and I'll tell them where they got, and
Well,
maybe
that's
a
where
few of
like
us
yeah,
can split a cow. But
yeah, and that's where like that stuff really comes in handy. And same, like if
yeah,
you can find the farmer for the the produce and you go and you're like, hey, especially if you're into canning and stuff like that, which I
oh, bro,
know is like extremist behavior,
oh,
and you
bro,
being prepared is like being a terrorist. But yeah, if you can go and like talk to a farmer and be like, hey, I will buy a whole truckload of carrots from you,
yeah.
they'll give you a good price. And then if you're into canning, you can can it and preserve all that stuff. And like that's how you really get good deals. But that's
Uh,
not this podcast. That's the other CPP
yeah.
podcast, and you
Or
should
or
listen
you-
to them.
or
But
or you get me, Gavin, Andrew,
yeah,
Benny, and like you get five of us, and like get
yeah,
friends. Go talk to your neighbors. Just be like,
yeah.
hey,
And
I
that's the
I
way to
got
do
I
it.
got a I got a lead on 100 potatoes or 100 pounds of potatoes. Like I
Yeah.
don't need 100 pounds, but I'm like,
And
you
I
want
know
you want
people that
10
have done
pounds?
that with like, do you
Yeah,
want to go halfsies on a cow?
yeah.
Right?
Best
Because they don't need a
best money
whole
they ever spent.
cow, but they could certainly use a half of a cow over the course of a year.
Yep.
So yeah, things like that certainly help. But yeah, it's crazy the
Yeah.
things that people are going to need to do. But some of the other things that are driving up inflation and everything else, shitty politicians. Halifax Auditor
Which ones?
General
Oh, oh, oh.
asked police to investigate mayor's expenses. So
Ooh.
apparently, the Auditor General has found 4 transactions from mayor's office that were not compliant with city policy.
Okay, so four doesn't sound much as long as they weren't all in the same day.
Well, it's a dollar figure that's also kind of thing. So
Yeah.
the local cops
Yeah.
apparently have decided that they are too close to the situation, which is fair. They work directly for
Yeah.
the mayor in
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah.
And so this is a weird move where they have actually kind of like done the right thing
Yeah.
and
It said
absolved
we
themselves
are too
of this.
close.
Like
Yeah.
the
They
sad
didn't
part
say
is
we're.
they have turned it over to the RCMP
Uh,
and they're the ones that are investigating it. But it's
because that
okay.
went well, and last time something happened in Nova
Yeah,
Scotia.
it's yeah. But apparently the transactions include approximately $14,000 for an external speechwriter and
Oh,
$90,000 for a reorganization of the mayor's office.
okay, so I need way more info on that. Like reorganizing, as in like, hey, let's redo the carpets and like get this old stuff out, or like
See,
reorganize
to
as
me,
in
that would sound
we
like
don't need these.
renovations, not reorganizing. Reorganizing just
Ah,
sounds like they moved a bunch of shit around.
yeah, but I mean, I agree, but I'm not going to disregard about other people's fancy words for
Hmm.
renovating,
If it was a reno or
reorganizing.
whatever that needed to
Yeah,
happen, then like that's fine.
90
Like,
grand. Shit, we should hire those
but
people to do the
but
prime
for
minister's house.
yeah,
90K.
14,000
Yeah, external
in
speechwriters.
speech
I have an
writing,
issue. I have an issue with that.
especially like external speechwriter implies that there's an internal
Contract.
speechwriter
Yep. Or they don't
that's
have that.
quite literally their job. and
Yeah. Or
they
they
chose to not use them.
yeah, or they don't have one and they strictly have it on contract, which, as you
Which,
know, as a business owner, a
yeah,
cost is associated with that because
oh
there's no
yeah.
WSIB, there's no
If
this
I
or
don't
that. But
have
I'm
one
like, you
on
pay a
staff,
premium.
yeah, if
Yeah,
I don't have
you
one on
pay a premium.
staff, and like if they had to like employ a full-time one, that's probably like 40 plus a year. So
Yeah,
like they got a deal on it because it's way cheaper than just having a guy that sits around doing nothing until the mayor needs to
yeah.
do a speech. But then also there were some legal expenses totaling nearly $7,700.
For
So
two
the
external things,
yeah,
which,
so the
right?
mayor apparently has already paid back the legal fees to the city from his own pocketbook.
Oh, because he
The
got caught or
biggest,
because it was the
yeah,
right thing
well,
to
that's
do?
probably because he got caught. But the biggest problem with this whole thing is not that like this reorganization and the speech writing weren't needed. It's that they were kind of just like given to a
Vague.
sole contract. Like there was no bidding. Like normally, like you gotta like talk to three people and at least get a quote. Like you can pick
Yeah,
the most expensive one, but you still have to get three quotes.
yeah,
And he did not follow that procedure.
yeah.
But this is why, like, people dislike politicians and everything else because it's like, okay, if the expense needs to happen, then that's fine. It needs to happen. But there also needs to be like the due diligence of like
Yeah.
following the fucking rules that you as mayor or your predecessor has likely set forth. And like, great, you need a speech written? Fine. Let's talk to three people that write speeches and they give you a quote and then you pick the best value.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Pick
the
the goodest
cheapest,
one. Yeah,
not that this,
pick the
but the
goodest.
best value, right?
Yeah.
And same with like reorganizing the office. Like if it needs to get done, it needs to get done, but talk to multiple people and see, like, can we save money? Or like is 90,000 on the low end of that? We don't know because you didn't ask other people.
But also, what did you reorganize, right? Like, did you
Yeah.
reorganize where, like, did you get a financial auditor to come in and, like, someone to look at the books and be like, hey, you can cut, these 20 people
Yeah.
at 70K a year, plus benefits, plus this, plus pension, plus all that stuff. And, like, you could literally get rid of them and, like, you wouldn't skip a beat. You would be more efficient and you can cut this red tape or whatever. That is 100% worth the $90,000 to be more efficient. Sucks someone would get a job, but they can start a GoFundMe just like the guy did in
Yeah.
Toronto. So,
But yeah, it seems like there's some shady things going on here,
yeah,
potentially shady things, because he didn't follow the rules, and like apparently the legal fees were to defend him against people that complained about him, but in like a professional capacity, like they complained against him as mayor, not as Joe Blow. So like they are work expenses,
yeah. I
right?
mean,
But like again, you go
yeah,
through the like follow the fucking rules. Like this is my
yeah.
problem with all of these politicians that are just like, yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna just do whatever I want. And it's like, no, stop.
Yeah, Mayor's chief of staff incorrectly logged the second legal expense after being told
Yeah,
the proper policy, which I'm like, if you're going after the person or are you going after the
yeah,
office?
yeah.
Because even if you're mayor and I come after you because you're a shitty neighbor, does not
It's
mean the
totally
mayor. Yeah.
unrelated, and
But
that comes out of his pocket.
yeah,
Yeah,
I come after you for a shitty policy you have implemented, and I think I
yeah,
have something to stand. That
that's
you can
different.
use. Yeah, that's different, right?
Exactly.
So it's
It's
kind
like
of
if someone
vague on how they
sues me
word it.
personally,
Yeah.
work doesn't cover it. But I have been
No.
sued because
For
of my
work.
business, and then the company
And
pays for it.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, right? Like and that's why like they're kind of vague on like, oh, the second one he incorrectly logged it after being told the proper policy. And I was like, well, you think the
yeah.
chief of staff
But
would know how
well,
to,
exactly, right? And like if this is
or
happening at the municipal level, you know that it's also
imagine the
happening
federal.
at the provincial level and then again at the federal level, right? And this is part of like
Yeah,
inflation because like our tax dollars go to cover these stupid
yeah.
things, and the more these
So the ours wouldn't. So like you and me both live in Ontario.
Hmm.
Technically,
So our tax dollars didn't go to pay for his office
specifically,
reorganizing.
right?
But
No, so specifically they didn't. But at the end of the day, let's take all government into
yeah,
it's all our money. Like it didn't generally deflect ours
no.
because that is a
But the people
municipal.
that
So
live
that's
in
what your property
Halifax,
tax is,
yeah,
right? So if all of a sudden your property tax goes up, 4%, well, why is that? Well, maybe it's
because of the
because,
expenses of the
yeah,
city have gone
right.
up
So,
by
but
that
that all
because of
trickles, municipal,
yeah.
provincial,
Well,
federal,
yeah,
right?
like
So like,
2% here, and then 2% here, and then two
and then
percent
2%
here, and
here,
then
yeah,
it adds up.
and then somehow it turns into
And
10%, even though
and
it
if
should only
these
be
guys are getting away with it, then the other
yeah,
guys are getting away with it,
yeah,
and yeah, and that's the
yeah.
problem, right?
But just corruption and shitty people
Yeah,
trying to abuse power, or maybe it was a mistake. Let's just say it was. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
yeah,
Um,
but
but
it's a
also
good
I
thing they
don't
caught it.
because
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. So and it's funny enough because I was in Halifax not that long ago, and some guy was bitching that his property tax was going up. So I'm curious if it's related to this.
Although, man, I'm not gonna lie, I love Halifax. It is a
Oh
fun
yeah.
city to go and party in.
I mean,
Like
I've never
there's
partied. Like,
oh,
there's nice places to go, bro. I'm telling you, you got to go to that really shitty smokehouse I told you about when you go next. It's
I
in
will
Dartmouth,
check it out. Yeah,
but
my favorite thing though, and like this is super cliche and touristy, and I don't care, but I love going to the lower deck and sitting on their back patio, like overlooking like the ocean and just having a beer and hearing the live music in the background.
oh
Because
yeah,
it's just like,
like
oh, like it just speaks to my everything.
yeah,
Like
no,
it's
like I think it was last year I went down and like we get corporate discounts on like rentals, right? Like so I
mm,
just like give me the shitty sedans, the fucking Kia, like I don't give a shit.
yeah,
It's like, oh, you want a like convertible Mustang and it's pouring rain. And I was like, I don't want to pay more. And he's like, same price. I was like, I don't care. The company's paying for it, don't get me wrong, but like
yeah,
they're gonna be upset if somehow my $30 rental turned into a $200
yeah,
rental, right? They're like, no, no, same price. Like he's like, I have too many of them. They had like 30 of them. Pouring fucking rain. So I got a convertible Mustang. I'm like, oh, whatever. I can throw my suitcase in. Well, 2, 3 days later, it was really nice. I'm like, oh,
nice,
I'm actually done everything early. Like, guy's like, oh,
yeah,
you ever taken a drive down here? I don't even know where that is. So we Google
yeah,
mapped it. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Took this nice scenery right by the ocean, all
nice.
this, all
I
that. Yeah,
love
and it
when
was
things
just
like that
the
work out. Like,
convertible was down. It was gorgeous out. It wasn't too hot. I'm blasting some fucking music, and I'm like, yeah, I clocked out, and
I
I'm like,
love
I just took like a 2.5 hour drive. I was
nice.
like,
I love when that
that
works
was
out like
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
I did that one time when I had to go to Texas in like February, and we're like South Texas, like right on the Gulf of America, and like I rented a convertible
Yeah.
because it wasn't like that much more money
No,
really than
no.
like a regular rental, and whatever, it's my business, I can make that choice.
Yeah.
Except we had the opposite happen where it was too fucking cold to fucking do that. And it's like, this is bullshit. It was supposed to be warm and we could have been like cruising by the ocean, but no, this is
No, you've
bullshit.
got it. You're driving by the ocean with all the windows up and the heat on. Like I was, yeah, I was a complete opposite. It wasn't too hot and everything, and I was like, I got a free upgrade. But like, yeah, I walked out and they had like 20 convertible Mustangs, and they were just like, just take one,
Yeah.
right? Like corporate discount. Like I put this code in, and we pay pennies on the dollar or whatever because
Yeah.
big incorporation or whatever. But yeah, it was just like I'm like, I ain't paying more, and they were like, no, no, just take it. I was like,
Mm.
all right, well, my contract, I took it.
Yeah.
And
I love when that happens
yeah,
though, and you get like
yeah,
a much nicer car for the same price.
yeah, yeah.
Let's get a couple last ones here that are kind of not super important, but kind of interesting. But Toys R Us Canada gets court approval to split business among three buyers. Um, and the thing that I did, reason I put this in here because there's a thing that I didn't know about this. So one of the people that is offering to buy part of Toys R Us where I'm trying to find it here. So
Uh,
there's a US based company called Ad Populum. So it owns Party
affiliate,
City,
yeah, and manages
but it
companies.
also manages
Shit,
the company behind Chia Pet and Graceland, the home of Elvis,
yeah, in Tennessee.
which is such a
Like,
weird business
like
model. It's like,
that's all
okay,
over the place.
you
Okay.
own you own like you want to buy a toy store, you already own Party City that sells all of the like balloons and paper plates and
And you've
okay.
got the chia.
Yeah, and like I guess someone's got to own Chia Pet, but that's sold in like a bunch of weird places. Like it's sold everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
You
then
can
they
order it
own and
on
then
like
they own
2:30 in the
Graceland.
morning.
Like I saw like
And
it's not particularly Canadian, but like because it's an American company, but it's the Toys R Us Canada thing. I find it strange because like the American Toys R Us went away like years ago, and everyone was super sad that Jeffrey the giraffe went away. We still had him up until recently when they started closing the stores. There's
yeah,
one right near my office that we went into the other day looking for something, and it was
and there's
sad.
fuck all there. Yeah,
Dude, like we
like
went in and like the weirdest part is that they had like a was it HMV or one of the other like record store companies that doesn't exist anymore, but they had a section in there that was like signs and everything from those stores, and they were selling like CDs, but then they also had like clothing. And it's not that Toys R Us didn't have clothing, it was like anime clothing or Barbie
yeah, it was like
clothing or
the
whatever,
yeah,
right? Like
and it was like
this
yeah,
was
they
just
they
like
had
regular, weird, just like plain sweatpants with no, like, it was just such a strange, sad
was it
experience going
was
in
it
there.
HM? What was the other one? There was HMV. And there was another one. Yeah, I always went to those two stores in the
Yeah.
mall when I lived not like at my parents' place, right? Like years ago. It was HMV, and that one was black lettering, purple. The other one was like CD something. Was
Yeah.
it? Yeah. But yeah, they've got those like everywhere in there. Like there's no such thing. Like nobody understands
Yeah.
what it took to like go listen to music. And you when you went
Yeah.
there, you just hoped those earmuffs and like those four
Weren't
CD
gross.
players had something you
Yeah.
wanted to listen to. Because YouTube wasn't a thing for new songs, like all those things. Like, yeah, HMV and fuck, what was the other one, man? I I'll
Sam the
remember it
Record
like it's
Man
around the
was
corner.
one. Sunrise Records was the other.
Yeah, Sunrise is
HMV
still
was the
around,
big one.
but there
Um,
was another one, and it's none of the
yeah,
ones you just said, other than HMV.
yeah, I don't, but yeah, it was sad.
Yeah, yeah, but
One last weird. I think that was all I wanted to say. It's just like a weird, like they own fucking Graceland and
yeah, and
Party
then
City,
like the
and
second
like and
transaction
Chia
only,
Pet.
yeah, the second
Such a
transaction
weird.
only does like
I mean, I
three
guess
store, 10
div,
store
div,
store leases.
yeah,
Like,
diversify your portfolio, I guess. But like that's such a
yeah,
weird. This is even weirder though.
so fuck.
Quebectown recognizes trees as living beings with rights.
Yeah. So it was funny because I read some of the articles and I like giggled and I told Mel and she's like, "Well, I took a course and like it's a thing 'cause she's doing an art." And I was like, "All right, we're done talking." I put my headphones on and I listened to something. I was like, "I get it," but I was like, "I don't." Like, no, I was like, if I own the property, I was like, I don't give a fuck about your tree rights. I want it out, get it out. But yeah, it was, yeah, fucking leave it to
Yeah,
Quebec.
like
Bro,
don't get me wrong. Like you shouldn't just like go and cut down trees willy nilly. Like that we need them. They're important.
if it's my property, I should be able to do it. Or you should
Yes.
not do this anywhere you are not allowed. My property, I
Yeah.
should be able to do whatever I want.
Absolutely, you should, and I
Yeah.
100% agree with that.
But I
Uh,
should not go on your property and cut your tree because I don't like it. But
yeah. But this is
yeah,
the Terrasse
terrasse
Vaudreuil.
Vaudreuil.
Yeah, there you
Terrasse
go. I
Vaudreuil.
need the accent better. But yes,
Yeah.
this is the first municipality in Canada to sign on to Universal Declaration of the Rights of the Tree. So this is a small town west of Montreal has decided to officially recognize trees as living beings with rights of their own.
Tells you everything about me wanting to fucking move there.
Yeah. So they have the right to life, to natural growth, to integrity, and to regeneration.
Yep, sure. But if they impede on my foundation, do I have the
Well, and
right to sue
that's
them for financial
that's just
anything?
it, right? Like I get like, okay, the city owns trees and they don't want you to cut them down. And we started doing this weird thing in Mississauga where I am, where when there was a big tree that for whatever reason needed to be cut down and it was on public property, the city would come in and cut it, but then they would like get someone to carve something into the tree and then put the tree back up in the same spot so that like it didn't ruin.
The landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And it's
mean,
like, okay,
that's kind of cool. Like, okay, I'm all
but
down
is
for like
that what is
plant
that
another tree.
costing? But like, yeah, we
Yeah.
could have just planted another tree in its place or right next to it or something instead of like propping up the dead tree with a carving on it now. But whatever, at
Ah,
least like,
but
something.
I could agree with
But
the carving of the tree. You know, you've had many family picnics. That's where you met your wife
eh,
or you had your first kiss. Like,
oh, but this
which
is like an
isn't the town
artistic thing.
response?
But like
Yeah.
it's weird. Like it's on the corner, like right by my parents' place. There's an intersection there, like a major intersection, and
Yeah.
there
So
was a
nobody gives a
tree
fuck about it.
like just off to the side,
Yeah.
and like it wasn't that nice of a tree, but
Yeah.
like it died of natural causes, so they like lop it off like right at the bottom, and then someone goes and like carved a bunch of stuff into the limbs, and then they put like the tree carcass with the carvings back up in the exact same spot. It's weird, but whatever, it preserved sort of the look, right? Because the tree was still there in a way. But what about places where now in this city where the tree starts to like you said, like overgrow things?
Yep.
The
Yeah.
tree has now grown out onto the road and
Yeah.
affects public safety.
Yeah. Well,
There's a
I
heavy
don't care too much
branch
about.
hanging out over the road that potentially could fall at any time and kill somebody. Well, I can't. The tree has rights to live.
Yeah. I mean, it does until it impedes. Like, what if it goes through whether you have a septic system or
Yeah,
a not thing? Like if the tree goes through, the pipe that go takes your unwanted substance to the place that you pay taxes to
yeah,
get cleaned and everything and like water sewage, right? So they do whatever so I can get clean water and they take care of all the dirty stuff and everything. But if the tree decides that it's going to do whatever and it affects that, am I allowed to dig that up and take that tree root out and
yeah.
fix the issue so that I'm not contaminating everything else? Because guess what happens when you do all the things with the water that should not be there? That's
Yeah.
contaminated. It's not good for
Well,
soil, eco
yeah.
life, anything. If
I
your
mean,
garden is anywhere
it's
near there, don't eat those veggies.
yeah,
You
and
know?
like this is the thing. My parents they back on a ravine, and
Yep.
so like there's trees that are outside of their property line, but are tall enough that potentially they could fall and hit the house.
Yeah.
And like if the tree has a right to regeneration, that means that like even if it's like kind of fucked up, but not totally,
Yeah.
I can't cut it down. But that's
No.
when it becomes really dangerous and it might fall and hit the
Yeah.
house. And so like this tree now has rights and I can't do anything to protect my property or my safety if I'm back there or whatever, right? Like it's crazy. But apparently this passed unanimously.
Yeah.
And
Fucking
apparently is
vegans.
also popular with the citizens. And they don't anticipate it causing any problems, such as interfering with development. Although that's partly because the town has no more vacant land on which to build.
So
So yeah, they don't foresee any problems right
Ju-
now, but give it
June
5, 10,
22nd,
20 years. Yeah.
2036. Let's revisit this article and see how that went
Yeah.
for them. Yeah, just 10 years, 5 years even. Like, depending where
Yeah.
you're like yeah, there can be many things. And yes, absolutely there should be trees around. It causes natural breaks, natural foliage for wildlife and all that stuff. I'm all up for it, privacy,
Yeah.
cut the wind
Yeah.
downs, you
Well,
plan
and
it
that like
right.
I'm not
It's
against
goodness, it
protecting
smells
things,
nice.
right? Like I mean, I
Yeah.
think like, to get into American politics very briefly, the Orange Man just signed into a thing protecting animals and all of that and like strengthening rules against animal abuse. All for that.
Yep.
And same
I mean,
like don't destroy the environment for the sake of destroying the environment. That is not good.
yeah,
That's not good for like anyone. It's not
anybody.
good for you
No.
right now. It's not good for like our kids. It's not good for our kids' kids. It's not good for our kids' kids' kids. We need trees. We need the environment to be healthy and happy and all of that. But also, trees are a living entity, but it's a fucking tree. Like, why? What's next, though?
Yeah.
Shrubs? Okay. What about grass? How is a tree more important than grass?
Yeah, don't even get me started. I fucking hate
Right?
cutting
Like, where do you
grass.
draw the line?
I want to asphalt my fucking backyard. I'm sick of fucking cutting grass.
Yeah, but like cutting grass will end up being a microaggression or something like that, and you're not
Yeah.
allowed to do it. And so if you're going to do it, you need to do it now before that happens, because if cutting it's bad, asphalting it or concreting it is going to be way worse.
Yeah. What about the fake one that never grows? Or
Yeah.
I want to fucking rip my whole backyard. Apparently, I'm sure Mel's in the chat. She'll put it at some point. But there's this seed you can put, and it's I don't know what it is, but it doesn't grow past like 2 inches, and it's like drought
Well, but that
resistant. Your dog can pee on it; it doesn't
well,
burn.
but that's part
And
of the
I'm like,
problem is that everybody
bro,
here
I'm good.
wants that Kentucky bluegrass,
Yeah, I don't. I
which
want
is
something I
not
don't have to
native,
fucking take the lawnmower
which is
every
which is
week.
not native to here, which is why it's such a pain in the dick to maintain it because it does not grow naturally in this part of the world. We'd far better off putting in something that is natural to this area.
Yeah, and
But again, yeah, where do we draw the line on like, okay, so trees have rights.
okay.
Well, how is a tree any different than, say, a cucumber plant?
Does that mean I can't eat cucumbers now? I mean, I'm gonna save
You
money.
can't
Don't get
even
me
cut them
wrong.
off. Yeah, well, I'll save money, but you can't cut one off the vine now. You have to wait for it to naturally fall off.
Yeah. And
And
then at
even
that point,
then,
it's fucking rotten,
yeah,
right? Like,
right?
so
Like it's just
do I
it's
have to
insane.
pay? Oh, so white clover, that's what it is. I knew she'd figure
Yeah,
it out. But like, does that mean that like I have when the cucumber falls off, do I have it to give it a proper burial?
probably. You it like send its
Like,
kids
because
to
it's
college or something like.
yeah,
But
why?
like
Because it
that's
was like on my property line, and because
yeah,
it fell on mine, I'm responsible for it.
yeah.
Um,
But this is the like I'm all for like protecting the environment.
yes,
I think we need to do better at it than we are doing.
yeah. We need to have trees around. We need to have shrubs. We
But
need to have foliage. We need to have plants
to
and all
go
that
this
stuff.
far, it's
Yeah.
like come on. Like this is the same. It's right up there with
So,
like, oh, does your newborn baby consent to you changing its diaper?
yeah.
Well, it's kind of sitting there laying in its own shit.
And it's
So
crying a lot.
I'm gonna go with
So I,
yes,
yeah. But
right?
so also, I'm curious if I plant 5 extra trees on my property, does that
Can you
mean
kill
I
one?
get
Is
no,
there like a
I get 5 extra votes?
I
Because
guess that
like that,
depends. Like if I mean
or does
when you do
owning
your
them make you a
census,
racist? Yeah,
yeah, when
does
you do your
owning them make you
census, you're going to
racist?
have to report all of the trees on your property as they
Yeah,
are individuals that have rights.
right. Or does that make you racist because now you're claiming ownership over
Ooh,
5
yeah,
living things, right? Like, so are we
and
going
we
too
can't
far
do that.
back?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
then
frowned upon.
we'll have to emancipate the trees.
Or does that mean we get our own revolution?
I mean, I'm sure I could quote something from the Lorax here, but
We can
yeah,
quote something from Lorax, 1984. Like, there's
yeah.
many things that a
Well, I mean,
handful of hard
all I
men.
know is that as long as the Lorax is armed, the trees will not be harmed. But you know, we'll see how it goes. But I just saw that one and I was like, that is like, yes, we
Yeah.
need to do better at protecting the environment because we do such a shit job at it. But also, trees don't have fucking rights. Like, where do you draw the line? That is insane. Like,
Because
you
I,
know, if
me,
a
me,
tree
me,
has rights, then like, am I no
yeah.
longer allowed? Like, I can't just go and like cut, not even cut it down, but like trim it. So then how am I supposed to be able to go fishing or hunting or literally anything? Because if a tree has rights and I can't prune it, then going fishing and catching a fish and killing it and eating it is definitely well beyond pruning a fucking tree where it's not even going to
No,
feel it or
um,
notice.
no. So as long as you have consent from the worm to dig up, so you have that piece of paper, so that's going to be a separate license, and then you're going to have a separate license for the consent of the worm to put on the hook. And then you're gonna have to buy another license for the consent of the fish to eat
Oh
the
man.
worm that you had consent to put on the hook that was consently or consently
Well,
harvested, and the fish did whatever. So just buy these 6 licenses and you can fish as you did before with the one license.
and don't forget that you'll probably have to do some sort of like acknowledgement or something in on it
Yeah,
of everything. Yeah.
yeah. Before you get, yeah, you have to ask the worm that if it's aware that it's on,
Yeah.
indigenous land,
Yeah. And
and
that it is going to be, willing to sacrifice itself and all.
on a different native
Yeah.
land, even though the
Yeah.
bands didn't agree, 200 years
Yeah.
ago,
So
they've
I've now
reconciled
brought this
now.
worm to a different place where this worm is no longer indigenous to. It is something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate this current timeline. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible.
Who would have known that when we did the tree acknowledgement, we'd have the most fun with it?
Yeah. Well, I just like I figured that was just a
Oh,
ridiculous one
damn,
that
bro.
needed to be
Like,
in there.
I, like
Yeah.
I said, I showed Mel the show notes and everything, and I was like, oh look, like someone has tree rights, and she was like, oh, I learned this, and I'm like, if I own property, I'd cut most of the trees around my house so nothing falls on it. But you might like make a tree like 20 kilometers away suffer because like when trees like they know who's mom and dad and they help their trees, and I was like, it's 20 kilometers away, it's not on my property. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, no, I'm sure we'll have
Yeah.
a debate after this is done because we've probably said something that upset her. But
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like that if anyone has read like not just Ender's Game, but the latter books in the series of when Ender gets older and goes off to other places and there's a world founded by the Portuguese and there's a thing and there's these little like pig-like thingies um that when they die they turn into trees and the trees communicate. Yeah, I don't think we live in that universe.
no, right? I mean, the trees that communicate, wasn't that Lord of the Rings?
I mean that's different trees. Those ones like
Oh,
actually like are pretty baller because they like
they just sound
uproot
like they
themselves
smoke
and
dope all.
start like
They just sound
start
like they smoke
walking and
dope all
like
day.
fucking smashing people and everything. So that was pretty cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
when we're not talking about tree rights and becoming eco-fascists, apparently, where can people find you, Pierre?
You can find me in my kitchen arguing with my wife about trees having rights and how many mother trees are important. But
Yeah.
other than that, the other CPP Sunday nights on Bookface and UseTubes, 9 p.m. Every other week. We are trying to get back into a schedule. We've been crazy. Everybody's been crazy busy. Canadian Prepper podcast. Um, I am on the Discord. You just got to figure out which one of my 3 accounts on there are actually me. Um, Off the wall customizing, you can get shirts that will make family cringe, or my wife will make you. I can say gay sparkly cup because it's Pride Month, and you can't get offended. But that won't change next month when I call it Gay Sparkly Cups.
No, they will always be.
Yeah, there'll always be that, but just I at least get 4 weeks of, not being a fascist.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. Your other half is saying that you're in the doghouse, but hopefully that doghouse is not made out of wood that's come from a tree. Um,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I hope that motherfucking likes that bitch, eh?
sorry, Mel. Just breaking everyone's balls. You can find me coming up at the Prepper podcast, where Jerry was just talking about them, and some of those people will be there at the Preppers Meet coming up in Alliston, Ontario. Come drink beer, sit around a campfire, talk about trees and
Oh,
their rights and how they
and
can be
there
useful.
there may or may not be a live
Well,
podcast with
yes, we will be
guests.
due, yeah, a live other CPP podcast from there, and I will probably be hammered, so it'll be glorious. Apologies to Rod. Rod was out busy protecting the trees and their rights, being
Yep,
from BC and all. There's so many trees out there.
yep.
That's
I
why he
mean,
couldn't make it on.
we
He's
understand that.
he's actually he's arming the trees in order so that they can protect themselves and their rights. So,
Yeah. I mean, obviously not with SKSs after today, so he
no, no,
had to
no,
go out and
no, no,
swap a few
no.
of them.
Yeah,
Um,
he's arming them with like stern words.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like embracements and love
Yeah,
speeches.
feelings.
Yeah,
They will share their feelings with you and speak sternly
yeah,
at you if you decide to
yeah.
threaten one.
The
That is
condescending finger
yeah.
wag, or I guess tree branch wag at this point.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. Um, but yes, I would also like to remind you that you are a small coniferous entity that also has unacceptable views and or potentially rights of some kind that
as
we
long
may
as
or
you're a
may
tree.
not. Yeah, as long as you're a
Or
tree, you
yeah,
have rights. If
and
you were a gun
it's
owner, you've got nothing.
yeah,
Or if you're
as
unvaccinated, you have
or
nothing.
as long as you can prove it in your family tree that there's a
Yeah,
tree
there
in
you
there.
go. That's
Like,
how we get rights. Yes, we all part
yes.
of the family tree, so we get rights. But yes, that's all I have to say in my drunken ramble. So